Welcome to the locker room chat. Ron Berry. Oh, sorry, E.T.
Wait just a minute.
Ron Berry.
Let me
Oh, I
tell-
forgot you're not Ron Berry. You're E.T. Stamey. Thank you for being here tonight.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me, buddy.
For the last 6 months, I've substituted every now and then.
Every now and then.
I go to Starbucks, and I've got an open account. I order a drink, and they said, Mr. Berry said, okay. Well, I go by there tonight, and the account's been closed.
He closed it?
He closed the account. I had to pay for it. I had to drive all the way from Clinton. And don't know where he's at. Do you even know where he's at?
Nope.
He'll hear from me
I
next week.
think that the Georgia baseball team had a big tournament they're playing somewhere, and I think he's gone there. But I'm not
Georgia
100%.
baseball?
Yeah, he's Georgia football. He's Georgia everything. He's a Bulldog man. He loves the Bulldogs. Or he'll go with if you're going to give him something free to go watch Alabama play or something like that.
Their days are over.
Who's?
Georgia.
Georgia's days are
Yeah,
over.
2-3 more years and that's over.
Well, they might be. I mean, people's talking like they might be. We'll have to wait and see what the product is on the field. But we're glad everybody's with us.
Anyway.
We're right in the middle of high school. I say right in the middle of it. We're right at the end of sort of winding high school basketball down. We're playing region finals tonight. Oak Ridge is playing tonight. As a matter of fact, I think I said Maryville, didn't I? Is that what I said? Yeah, Maryville's playing at Oak Ridge tonight. Gatlinburg-Pittman's at Northview Academy. That's sort of weird. Northview Academy is a Sevier County team, and Gatlinburg-Pittman is a Sevier
Yeah,
County
they got the
team.
new school up
Got
on
the
the
new
left.
school on the
Yeah,
left up there.
exactly.
Midway and Oneida. Midway's on a little run right now. Congratulations to those teams. Let's see here. The boys will be, Oak Ridge will face Bearden, Austin East, and Fulton. And I don't know if Harriman is still, Harriman and Oneida will play.
Okay.
Harriman ran its win streak to 12 games, eliminating the Chattanooga School of Arts and Science last night at Rome State Community College. So Harriman and Oneida will battle for that on Thursday night.
You mentioned Austin East beat Carter. Didn't Fulton and Austin East play in like at the end of the regular season
Yeah.
about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. Fulton, from
that.
what
Close ball game for Fulton.
close ball game. From what I've been told, that there's some highlights of last night. I guess Brad must have shot them. Sort of thought he might have. I've never seen Rome State's court. That's pretty good.
That's
court,
nice.
man.
It's like sort of look like a Blaze.
That's a nice looking court, ain't it?
It's very nice.
But anyway, yeah, I think Fulton hit a last second shot to win by 2.
And Austin East game.
When they played a couple
Yeah,
weeks
right,
ago.
yeah.
It was
Wow.
It was a nail biter game. So basketball is sort of winding down just a little bit because we'll play girls sub-state Saturday, boys sub-state Monday. Then the girls will tip it off the following weekend in Murfreesboro. Private might already be there. Private's weekend might be this weekend. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think private is this weekend, I think. And it's played at Belmont, I believe.
I'm not
I
sure.
believe I'm right.
I'm not sure you'll see a bigger game than Oak Ridge Bearden. That's
No,
probably
Oak Ridge
two
has
of the
got,
better teams.
Oak Ridge has got the Tennessee commit. I mean, not Oak Ridge, but Bearden has a
Bearden, right.
Tennessee commit.
Oak Ridge will have 2 or 3 of those signed somewhere.
They will.
You know,
Oak Ridge, been playing pretty good basketball. Oak Ridge girls have been playing pretty good basketball all year long. But yeah, that Oak Ridge Bearden game, that'd be worth the price of admission. And I think that game's at Bearden.
Never been in the Bearden gym.
I have.
How big is it?
It's pretty good size.
Sit on both sides
You
and
can sit
balconies
on-
and stuff.
Oh, you got seats on both sides, balcony on
Okay.
the side that the players sit, where they sit on the court. There's a balcony up there, and the bleachers go up so far on the other side. But it's not biggest thing over here, and I find is parking. Parking is really hard over there. But congratulations to those teams that are playing in those region finals. The only good thing about tonight, ET, is this: you can lose tonight, and you still got another game.
Still got another game, right?
You got to go on the road. You'll have to go on the road and play at another site to play in the sub-state game. But it's not tonight's not do or die. Tonight's not a what I call hanging uniforms up for the year. Tonight you do still get to wash them one more time and wear them one more time and play one more game. If you're a high school senior, your career's not over tonight if you lose.
Well, you're talking about the Bearden kid. We've got the top 10 recruits in the state of Tennessee.
Is he in that?
He's a number 5.
How tall is he?
They
it say?
say 6'9", 190. He's a project. Nationally, he's 195th. I would think that's pretty good. And
Yeah, they're going to have to do some
Well, you put him in a low post and he weighs 190 pounds.
Yeah, he's
Look
got to
at
get
UT
some.
now,
He's
and
got to
some
get
pretty
some.
beefy kids.
He's got to get some muscle.
Right.
He's got to. He's going to have to put a little weight on and get in the weight room.
And
Because he's not a. I've seen him on TV. He's not a very big kid body wise.
And out of the 10 recruits, where do you think 9 of them's from?
Memphis.
There we go. We'll discuss
That's the
those.
capital. You know, if you look at basketball, that's probably the capital for Tennessee. That's where most of the basketball players come. That's why, if you look at Tennessee recruiting Memphis, traditionally, I don't think they've recruited Memphis very well. We've got a few out there,
Exactly.
but the University of Memphis has got the majority of those players, and I think Hardaway's got maybe
And they
one
feel
of the.
like-
I think Hardaway might have one of the top players in the country. That it was between Memphis and Kentucky.
Well, Tennessee went down there and won that game.
Yeah.
Do you think that helped them?
I think it does.
You
A
would
little.
think,
I think it does a little bit. I don't know how much, but I think Anthony Hardaway sort of might have been like sticking a piece of bubble gum in a crack, you know, stop the flood. He's probably stopped it for a little while.
But you still got to win.
You still got to win, and
Right,
that's
right.
so we'll see how that goes down the road. So.
But you know, into the regional tournament for high school, David. You know, the coaches start out at the first of the year and probably really not sure of their starting lineup, and they play with it till the mid-season, and they pretty much got a starting lineup. Then you're always going to have an injury, so forth and so on. So you hope at this time, at the end of the year, they're full strength. Coach really knows what he's got offensively and defensively, and it looks like the cream does rise to the top. We have thought Oak Ridge and Bearden would eventually end up probably in the state tournament, but looks like maybe the finals are going to be played soon, you know, although that's just a region game, but that looks like a state final game there.
Well, I tell you, it's hard, and I know this just from running those guys at Fulton those 8 or 9 years I was over there. And during that time, Jody won 2 state championships over there, and Cincinnati's won a 3rd one. And it's hard to beat them teams out of Memphis.
Oh, I know exactly.
They
right.
play it's sort of like us in football.
It's a different-
East Tennessee is the king of football to a certain extent, and Middle and West is
Basketball.
so they win occasionally.
Baseball comes
but-
back up here, you know,
But
in East
when it
Tennessee.
comes to basketball,
Basketball's
if
Memphis.
you traditionally look, the team that's went to Murfreesboro and done anything has really been Fulton. Now, Oak Ridge has played there a couple of times since Coach Green's been over there,
Right.
but they've not got across that big hurdle. It's just playing those Memphis teams. They just play a different brand of basketball, and they're they're really good too. But it's just hard to go and win that basketball game for some reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know, but it's hard to do. And good luck to all those teams that are playing in those region championship games. You've had a great year, and you'll get to play one more.
Let's, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I want to talk about NASCAR. You just came back from Daytona.
I did.
Brought me a hat. I appreciate that. And but I want to talk about that. But I want to talk to you about something. Another Tennessee high school basketball team has been banned from playoffs after players went into the stands to fight with the fans. Now we've worked our way up now, David. I think we're at 6. Well, I'm gonna read them off here in a few minutes, but I think we've got 6 teams now that's put on that list that can't go to the playoffs. You've been to a lot of basketball games in the past, and maybe not as many lately, but what do you see or what do you hear from the coaches the reason players are wanting to go up in the stands?
I don't know why any coach, and I'm sure they don't allow it.
Right.
I think it just happens. I think they get so wrapped up in the game, and you might see mom or dad up there in the middle of it. You're going to go defend your mom and dad, and who's the teams that who
Well,
just,
the last one is Stratford, and of course they're from the Memphis area, and they were an 8-14 team. It's not like I'm going to lose this game tonight because of a bad call, and you're going to knock me out of the playoffs. I mean, they were 8-16 or something like that. But they went up in the stands. Now, let me find it here. Okay, Adamsville, I'm not sure where that's at.
I don't know where it's at. I've heard of it, but I don't know where it's at.
This is a list of them. Adamsville, Fairleigh, Melrose, Scotts Hill, Westwood, and of course Antioch and Overton came out of the football. They had a fight during the year, and of course Stratford was added to that list. Now 3 or 4 of those, either we've heard of them, they've just changed their name to the school and don't know who they are. But why is that? I don't think we go through a 10-year period of time and we don't hear of a situation, and now we got 6 in 1 year.
I think it
2 in
just-
football.
I think it just gets out of, my personal opinion, I think it just gets out of control from the fans, and it just bleeds over onto
Well,
the
you've
court.
got SROs now at the ball games.
Yeah, but
You know.
it's just not fast enough. Just not a fast enough reaction to cut that out. It just somebody could walk in here and there could be a fight start here in just a few seconds. You never know. So that's how fast it would. That's how fast it goes at a basketball game. Somebody comes out of the stands, comes to the floor and yells something. Next thing you know, you've got it started, and once it starts, I think it just rolls in.
Well, you got an
You've
inside.
lost it out. You've lost.
You got an inside source. You and your brother's pretty much supervisor for an area of high school basketball officials, and Mr. Howe helps him there. And you've probably had these conversations in the car as far as fights and stuff. Is there any special thing that your brother tells these officials to look at maybe
I don't
before
know
it happens?
some of the rules of I've heard Steve and him talk a little bit about it. Some of the rules have changed about the way fans react and what they do, and how to give the officials a little bit of authority to toss people out of the gym. For that, if they get out of control, you're trying to get in front of it. So I don't know. TSSAA. Bernard Childers sent out a letter. I believe it was Bernard Childers that sent a letter out. It was posted in the Sentinel. They said, telling fans, hey, you need to chill. You need to chill because you're having really. I don't know that I'd want to be an official.
Nowadays, no.
Because first of all, because of the abuse you got to take. That's a problem, I think, that those basketball associations, like we're talking about, the one my brother and Roger's got something to do with, I think that's a challenge. You already see it. You see it. And if Ken Buchanan was sitting here, he'd probably tell you, yeah, they're having trouble in football
right.
getting enough officials because people just don't want to take the abuse. So I don't know if that's just the way. I'll tell you what I think some of it is, and you can tell me I'm wrong, and that's fine. This is just my personal opinion. And everybody listening can have their own opinion. I think we've got to the point in sports. When my son played baseball, I always thought he was pretty good.
Right.
But there's always somebody's son or daughter that's a little bit better.
Well,
But
yeah,
I think we have ruined that by giving everybody trophies now.
everybody's.
I don't think we ought to give participation trophies out. I think it ought to be, you ought to win. You ought to have to win. Winning means something. Winning means something.
Well, trophy going to that kid or that young lady, parents get kind of pumped up.
That's
a little
right,
bit,
because
too.
they
Exactly.
think their kid,
Yep.
but here's what they expect, though, my opinion, only my opinion. I think they expect when they get in middle school, well, let's try to go back now because we're doing it in elementary school. They expect in elementary school, middle school, and high school for their kids to get to them. They think, hey, for 4 or 5 years, my daughter or son got a trophy every year.
Absolutely, it was the
Why
best.
are we not getting here? Why are we not getting here? And I always say this, and I won't say as much about elementary school because I think the elementary program that we started is it's a good feeder program for the middle school.
It is.
But we're getting kids just started because some of the crazy rules that I see that some of these leagues are playing, Lord have mercy.
Yep.
Jeff Little, I wouldn't touch that elementary school team for nothing. Because he's got to change their whole mindset. They don't even play. That's not basketball to me. They can say, I don't want to get a war started with people, but that's just not basketball. But anyway, I tell people this. When you get to the middle school and you're playing sport, somebody's job's on the line because winning now is important.
Fundamentally strong at that time.
Winning's important. Winning's important. Now, also, you need to learn how to lose, but not like it. Nobody wants to be a loser. Nobody wants to lose. But you got to learn how to lose with class.
If you don't like it, get better the next week.
That's right. Get better the next week.
Exactly.
So when you get to middle school, winning's important. It starts. And as you go further in your career, winning becomes more important. Because now when you get to the high school level, for sure coaches are going to get replaced if they're not doing the job, and if you're not doing the job, especially if you go to college or whatever, play football or basketball, you know that. So I think it rolls back to some on the parents. All the parents, I'll be the first one to admit, I always thought mine was one of the best. You thought yours were too.
Sure.
But when ours was growing, when mine and your son come through, there wasn't none of this participation trophies.
Nope.
You played.
Nope.
You want to start. You play. You practice and do all the stuff you're supposed to do, and you earn that spot.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's how David feels about it.
Well, that
Tom
discussion.
or Joe out here could feel completely different, and that's fine. That's their opinion. I think Frank Martin. Frank Martin. Frank Martin's got an interview he does about that. He talks about parents wanting to coach their kids. He said it's the worst thing in the world.
Worst thing, yep.
He blows it out of the water. He talks about this, giving all these trophies. No, I don't think it's a good idea, because automatically a kid thinks he's really good, and he might really need to work. He might really be a good kid.
Exactly.
We all know good kids. I don't know any bad kids.
Sure.
But when it comes to athletics, some of them are better than others, and some of them are just going to be hard workers, and they're going to make it on their hard work. They might not have all the talent as me and you've got, but they're going to work hard and they're going to make it. That's a difference. That's what kids got. That's what I think. I think that's the problem. It's the parents in the stand. A lot of parents are living through their kids. Something they didn't get, something they either didn't do or didn't succeed at, and they're living through the kids.
Usually they wasn't too good either, so they're reliving it one more
Well,
time.
I wasn't going to say it just exactly the way you said it, but that's basically right.
That's
They
it.
wasn't too good. And,
Well,
and I also wonder this about sports. We have all these traveling teams, okay? And I remember growing up, I played Little League, I played Senior League, and I played Big League.
I did too. Yep.
And you always, at the end of the year, if you were good enough, you made an all-star team. And that all-star team went and played in the Little League.
So as far as you
Went as far as you could go in
right.
it. And when I went on up to Senior League, my parents postponed vacation several times. Just for the simple reason, because they were waiting on me
Absolutely.
to finish up off the all-star. Was I going to win and we're going to advance somewhere else, or was we going to get put out? Now, a lot of times we got put out. Sometimes we advanced. Same thing we got in Big League. Same way. So I don't know that I don't know what traveling baseball's done to everything. One time I really thought that was the right thing to do. I don't know today if that is, and I'm not connected to it today, so I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not really bad-mouthing. I'm just saying maybe it's something we ought to look at and just see if it's really paying off. Now, I'll give the guy. I heard a guy tell me this. I had a guy tell me this today. The coach at Clinton High School is really trying hard to build the Clinton High School baseball program up by having the middle school program.
Yep.
Apparently, he's got another team started below the middle school.
It's another age group, right?
It's another age group, but that's a feeder program for the middle school.
Right.
So trying to feed the high school program. So he's headed in the right direction. It's getting those kids to come. But I'm a firm believer in this too. I think a kid ought to be able to play as many sports as he wants to.
Well,
If they offer 4 and you want to play 4, play it.
when we were through in baseball in the summer, back when you and I played, it was getting ready for August football practice. So you dropped your glove, you picked up your cleats, you played, and as soon as that last game is, they were already bouncing basketballs at the high school. So you just went to basketball. And then you could not wait for baseball season rolled.
I didn't go to my senior prom because I was playing in I don't remember if we was playing in the sub-state or what we was playing in baseball. I was playing for Coach Taylor and not Coach Owens and them. And there wasn't no senior prom for me. We played baseball.
I couldn't go to Washington. Jay Niner was there, who passed away this week.
I seen that. He passed away.
And
Jumpin' Jay.
couldn't go our senior trip. If you go, you would not play when you got back. He plainly said that. So.
Yeah. And I just think kids ought to play. And I'll tell you something else. I think I don't fault Kelly Johnson one bit for wanting academics to be at the top, because that's what you send your kids to school for, to get an education. I think academics ought to play you can call it whatever you want, hold it over their head or whatever. Academically, I think you ought to be academically squared away, and you also ought to be held to a little higher standards if you're playing sports, and you need to act right.
Exactly.
So that's my thinking about it. But to go back to answer your question, after a long line of BS that I've went through, I really think it's the parents. I think the parents in the stands get started. It's just like people saying about the referee for the Tennessee LSU game. Was that a call I would have called at the last play of the game?
90 feet away. No.
I used to ask my brother that call, and he said, I used to ask him, would he make that call about some of those calls? And he said, if it's a rule violation, you're supposed to call it. So if it was a foul, you call it. It really don't matter.
Right.
But see, all Tennessee people have talked about is the officiating.
Sure.
They blamed it all on the officials.
Well,
But what about all those shots Tennessee missed?
Well, some bonehead plays in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you know, Barnes just talked about it today. Our guards are settling for too many jump shots. We're not passing the ball. Our assists are down. Their assists are way down. We only had a 10 or 11 in the last game. And we were averaging, I don't know what it was, but we were way up there. We're fourth in the country now, where I think at one time we might have been second or something.
Well,
look at what we're scoring in points. We were averaging 81-some points a game. I don't know what we're averaging right now, but it's down. So, no, Tennessee basketball's hit the wall. And I don't know.
Well, Grant Williams, he went three sections of the ball game, 3-minute sections that Grant Williams never touched the ball. Now, he said, I'm not saying throw Grant Williams the ball and he will shoot. Grant Williams creates offense for us, whether he shoots it or gets somebody else a good look at a three-point. So he doesn't even touch. But he said when they don't give the ball to Grant, he said all of our other guys gets antsy.
Something to think about here. Bowden's not playing good. Kyle Alexander's not playing
I
good.
think we're tired.
Turner has not played good in the last couple of games. And I didn't think Grant Williams had a good game Saturday at all.
Agreed.
I thought, as a matter of fact, this game, it was a pretty horrible game.
Yep.
He missed a lot, and this is going to be easy for me to say I'm not doing it. He missed a lot of easy layups in my book.
Right.
I think they were easy layups. So who knows? We'll see. They'll probably get beat tonight. It wouldn't shock me tonight if Ole Miss don't ring them up and beat them tonight. I don't think that Kentucky will beat them in Knoxville, man. I'll be shocked if that happens.
Well, look at
but
it.
listen, nothing wouldn't surprise me though with Kentucky. They're playing really well last night. But now
they are.
Arkansas had a chance to knock Kentucky off last night.
It's
and let it go.
lackluster, I thought.
Lackluster.
Yep.
Well, hey, let's jump out and take our first break. We come back. We'll continue on. I want to talk a little bit of Tennessee baseball with DT. I know he's a baseball guy.
I want to get into NASCAR.
We'll talk NASCAR too.
There we go.
We'll be right back here in just a few minutes.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. I didn't want to admit it, but I had PTSD.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding help and learning that I wasn't alone.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman. We are the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
This month, choose the 2019 Outback 2.5i for just $25,990 with financing as low as 0% at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Welcome back to the locker room chat. I don't know what the Tennessee score is. I know they come on at 7 o'clock like we did. I'm sure a lot of people's watching them and not watching me and you, E.T. That'll be all right. They'll get to see us tomorrow on a replay sometime tomorrow.
I get mine.
When we left, we was talking about some schools that are running a little trouble for fans and players going in the stands and fighting. So, but we're going to move on. Tennessee baseball team, E.T., is off to one of the best starts, I think, in school history. 7-0. Pitching staff has really been so far the backbone, and I know it's early, but these are the games that me and Barry sit here every year about this time, and we say, those are the games Tennessee needs to be winning. They need to win those games.
Got a pitcher from Sevierville that Casey Taylor groomed up, and he's pitching. This will be his second or third year there. Had 4 strikeouts in 1 inning, meaning 1 strikeout against the catcher missed.
Yeah.
Didn't throw him out. So struck him out, so 4, but they've allowed 1 run in 8 games now. I think they were ahead. Tennessee's leading 17-16.
17-16, yeah, it'd be a close game. But anyway, Tennessee baseball team is off to a really good start. It's
new infield, outfield. You see it?
Huh.
All turf, no dirt, period.
In the infield and outfield, it's all turf?
All turf. Just like Cal Ripken up at Pigeon Forge.
I seen a high school, my grandson played in a high school tournament no, it was a high school or middle school, I don't remember. Well, it doesn't really matter. He was at Paducah, and they went to somewhere in Lexington and played at this high school. And at this high school, you had the baseball field. They were playing on another field, and I don't remember if it had the turf, but the big baseball field had turf infield, turf outfield. Just had the cutouts for the dirt. But that field went on. It looked like there was a soccer field connected to out past the outfield that went on that was turf too. And I can't remember if where Austin played was turf or not. I don't really remember. But I've seen a turf field. I've wondered how a ball comes off that turf if it's wet. You think it comes off pretty fast?
I don't. Probably, obviously, the spin of the ball. I don't know if it plays off of that slippery artificial turf. I don't know that. You would think it'd be a true bounce no matter what, you know.
I didn't know they put.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It looks brown around each base path, but that's turf.
Wonder why they don't do that at the football field. Put turf back in. Wonder why.
There's a reason, obviously.
I'm sure there is, but I just wonder why they don't.
They went to the expense of going back.
Yeah, we went to the expense of going back and
upkeep. Yes,
upkeep of all that. Anyway, Tennessee baseball's off to a good start. I was listening to. I don't remember who I was listening to today. Probably the sports animal. Talking about the top teams in softball, the top 10. 5 of the top teams in the top 10 in softball are SEC in the nation are SEC schools. 5 of the top 10.
I think we got a freshman pitcher that's undefeated. I think she's already like 9-0.
That's something you don't have to worry too much about the Lady Vols softball. But I want to venture. We'll roll right into another subject. My favorite subject has been for weeks. Has been for years. Holly Warwick.
They don't go to the tournament. She gone?
Yeah, I think she's gone anyway.
Will Phillip be in the AD?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I think it's time for her to go. I really do. I think it's time for her to go.
In the new contract, did they not lower her buyout?
Yeah, maybe so. They didn't give her much money. Her contract extension wasn't for very much money at all. They didn't extend her very much, and they only done a 2-year thing, which didn't affect. That contract did nothing to her buyout. It stayed pretty much status quo, so she's not owed much money. Well, I really think, if they don't go to the tournament.
First time ever.
Ron Berry said here about a week ago and argued with me. He said, there's no way that Tennessee's not one of the top 64 women teams in the country. And I said, well, according to the bracketology people, they're not right? No. They have to win the last 2 games. They needed to beat South Carolina. If they'd have beat South Carolina, they could have lost the last 2 games.
Right.
Because South Carolina would have been a ranked team, so that would have helped. Right. So now they got to win the last 2 games, and they're not the strongest opponents, but they got to win those 2 games, and then they got to win a game or 2 in the SEC tournament to probably get in.
That won't happen. All right, first time ever you don't make NCAA, and her history 3 years back, which is the player's not getting any better. She's got 1 or 2 gets hurt and they leave. Her assistants are leaving. As far as I'm concerned, everybody wants to talk turmoil. I think they're there, except Lockwood, and he's been there forever.
I think if she's,
I think she's gone.
I
do.
think if she stays, she'll have to do a major shakeup in her coaching staff.
Her donations will go way down if she stays.
And I think it's already happened.
Yep.
All I needed to hear was maybe about, I'm going to say a month ago. It could have been longer. It could have been less time. Carol Lawson was doing a Tennessee no, it wasn't Carol Lawson. It was the Carter girl that was doing a Tennessee women's basketball game. And she made the comment, Tennessee came out and had 3.5 seconds to get a shot off to either to win the game or put it in overtime. I don't remember which it was. And her comment was, after the game, Tennessee looked like they didn't know what they were doing. I didn't need to hear nothing else.
Right, exactly.
You've got an ex.
And those are
you've
five-star players.
You've got an ex-player
Yep.
that has made that comment, a player that's recently ex that knew exactly what was going on, and she says they acted like they didn't know what they were doing. And that's exactly what it looked like on TV. So I just think the time, you know, I don't know how, and Ron Berry will say this, and I don't agree with him. I agree with him a little bit. You know, he can say that, but I'll say I think Philip Fulmer's the one that really put the football team in trouble.
You're totally right.
I think he did. I think he got laxed on recruiting after winning the national championship, and it just took the 1 or 2 years, and it happened. They could say, well, it's a bad coach hire and all that, and I might agree with that. But Ron always thinks, well, this was already happening with Pat Summitt. You'd already seen a decline in the program, starting to see the decline. He very well could be right. Maybe that's so. But I think the program now is as low as it's going to be a rebuild, and I think it's going to be a painful rebuild.
I think in the last 7 years, I think they said today on the TV, in 7 years, she's lost, in the course of those 7 years, she's lost around 10 players. Hurt, transfer for whatever reason, so forth, so on, personal reasons. But she's lost them. How many times do you ever hear of Pat Summitt ever losing a girl, period, and she had 100% graduation rate? So even if they were unhappy and they were on Pat Summitt's team, by golly, they stuck it out, which made them better people.
You know, we lose a girl earlier before the season starts. She transfers to Middle Tennessee. I can't remember the girl's name. We got a girl that played a lot last year.
Yep, right.
So there's something, I don't know what that something is. I do know that the more Tennessee Lady Vol fans you talk to, the more of them will tell you, hey, we've heard your comments on TV. We finally agree. We do agree with you now. We didn't agree with you when you started, but we agree now. We think the time's up. It's time to start winning.
But you know, her after game comments that she always, of course, she's a little whiny to me every time she gets on there, but it's almost like we know what the problem is, and this goes back 3 and 4 years. We know what the problem is, the reason we lost tonight. We didn't do this, we didn't, but we will improve that. We'll get to that tomorrow. She's been saying that for 3 years, and she never gets to it tomorrow.
I think you have to ask yourself this: if you let her come back, will your team be any better next year? And I think the answer is no.
Hurt your recruiting if she comes back.
All right, it sure does. So, it's just like the jury's out. I seen an article in the paper today that said that 2021 is really looking good for Jeremy Pruitt.
Absolutely.
So, but I'll ask you this: is the volunteer fans going to wait? Will they be content to wait to 2021?
Yep.
I mean, does he have to win 7 games next year and go to a bowl? Yeah, I think he does most definitely.
Yep.
Or I
he
think the
will.
third
Yes.
year, if he doesn't do something really big, the fans will be on him so hard. It really won't matter what happens in 2021. He could be the best coach ever that's ever been over there, and if he's not winning, they're not going to. We're really quick, man. We're really quick at the trigger when it comes down to it.
I think there's a recruiting, and then that was all 4 and 5 star. There were 10 of them were offensive, defensive linemen, and that's why you build up reserves. That's the reason you build up your second and third team, so you don't get tired in the fourth quarter. And we do get beat. I think he's definitely headed in the right direction, and he's got 2 5-star quarterbacks coming in.
I'd just like to see us get some of these kids that are in the Knoxville area and some of that, man. If we could get some of those kids.
T. Martin will do that. I really believe
Well, I'll tell you what I was told that when Butch Jones interviewed T. Martin, if T. Martin would have been on board, I heard we'd have
he
had.
wouldn't have got in trouble. You're right.
We'd have had a couple kids that went to Clemson.
You'd have probably had Oak Ridge
and
kids.
Probably would have, and we'd have had they said the Clemson quarterback would have probably came to Tennessee. So just think if we have those kids at Tennessee, along with other kids. So
May's
we'll
kid from Catholic.
Possibility.
He started at Georgia.
Started at Georgia's son.
Yep,
He's got a brother. I don't know if his brother's a senior this year or not. He might just be a junior.
Big, I know
He's
that.
a big boy. They're both big boys. What a way to have them on the offensive line. And I wonder how hard it was for that young man to go to Georgia when his dad was a big deal at
Tennessee.
He's a big deal at Tennessee.
Exactly.
He was a really good football player at Tennessee. I mean, that had to be a painful decision not only for him but for his family. And I understand you go where you think you're going to go and win at, and get with the coach too. But
I think that's all going to be positive. But another positive note, and you can take a break here if you want to. But NASCAR, 2 races, capacity crowds, a little bit of action going on as far as racing and a new body style, which is allowing them to run a little bit, and are real shaky, and they're having wrecks. But is Ford going to dominate this year? Looks like.
I'm going to say no.
No, they did last year.
They did last year. I'm going to say no. Chevrolet had a lot of speed in Daytona, but Daytona's a different animal.
It is.
I think we'll see as the season plays on with the new package that they've got out. I think we'll see it level out. I wouldn't be surprised maybe instead of Ford dominating, that Toyota don't dominate.
There's not that many of them now, though, are there? There used to be
There's
several.
there's still 6 or 7 teams. Joe Gibbs has got 4 and got an affiliate with 1. There's still a few.
Well, that was touching when he won the Daytona because of his son had passed away.
His son, yeah.
Big deal. That was a very
Big
enjoyable
deal.
race.
Really, you need to. I don't know if you've seen. I'm trying to think what the website is to go to.
I saw that. I can't think of it.
I can't remember.
Yep,
It. There's a
exactly.
website. Just go to Gibbs and maybe you can find it. But anybody that's not seen it, it's got his son's funeral on there, and got the speakers that all speak, and it is really
Wow.
a moving moving thing.
They talked to his dad after the race, after Joe Gibbs had won the Daytona, and they're talking directly about his son. What do you think your son would be thinking right now? His dad was just as plain talking. I mean, of course, he's a very spiritual guy. Coach Gibbs is, but he was very strong talking about his son. Instead of it looking like an emotional, which you'd think we would be, Mr. Gibbs was pretty strong talking about his
Yeah,
kid.
it's his son got sick suddenly.
Lou
and
Gehrig's disease? Is that what it was? Sort of?
I don't know. It was a brain. All I've ever been told, it was a brain disease, and it sort of, to me, sounds like dementia was probably something because they talked about him getting confused and getting lost and things.
Well, he had to go pretty quick because he actually performed in the year before, did he not? Was he not?
He was there.
Or
He was
owner or something.
No, he's the president of Gibbs
Okay.
Racing. He had been at the track. The last year he was there only a little bit. The year before he was there quite a bit.
Okay.
And in about a 3-year period, he went downhill pretty quick.
Okay, I got you.
But it was a touching thing. If you hear people talk, if you just could hear people talk about him, and you know real quick like where the Gibbses stand.
Pretty neat guy to be around.
Yeah,
Yep,
pretty neat
exactly.
guy to be around and everything. So, but I don't know if NASCAR's back or not.
Well, the crowds. That's
I'm gonna
the
say
only
this
way
much.
The only way you find out is the crowds.
The jury's out right now.
Well,
the jury's out.
Well, they got Talladega coming up. Do they not go to short track this week and then to Talladega?
I think they're in Las Vegas this week.
Well, that's fast track.
As we go, and as you see the track, we'll see how it plays out. So it'll be interesting to see because there's always a big crowd at Daytona because it's a spectacle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like going to, it is the Super Bowl in NASCAR. It's their biggest race of the year. So people's going to come to that race whether they go to any other race. That's the only race me and my brother go to is the Daytona 500. Well, we race that whole week, but that's the biggest race we go to, and that is the biggest race of
But
the year.
Atlanta's popular because they go fast in Atlanta.
Yeah, they do.
No restrictor plates. They get 200 miles. an
Now
hour.
they've got a new. There'll be no more restrictor plates in NASCAR. There's a new whatever does whatever it's supposed
Talladega,
to.
no?
Nope, Talladega, same thing. Run the same thing all year long.
Wow.
Same package. Supposed to slow the cars down a little bit, make better racing. They've raised the whatever they call it on the back, spoiler on the back. They've raised it up a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if it's any better. I can tell you this much: the Xfinity Series was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. The Xfinity Series. It wasn't nothing but one long line of cars following each other.
People get
It was
tired.
horrible.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely horrible. And the Daytona 500 was that way just a little bit, not much, but it was a little better. But the Xfinity Series was horrible. I mean, just horrible.
Oh.
The racing was horrible. Let's jump out and take another break. We'll be right back in a minute. We'll finish this thing up here when we come back.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. I didn't want to admit it, but I had PTSD.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding help and learning that I wasn't alone.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman. We're the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
This month, choose the 2019 Outback 2.5i for just $25,990 with financing as low as 0% at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. And I know you're going to ask me a question, E.T., but I'm going to read something first before you ask me a question. You'll like this. A track and field clinic will be held for elementary school students at the Clinton High School on Tuesday, April the 18th. The clinic featuring coaches from the CHS track athletes will be held at the track from 4:30 to 5:30 and is open to all elementary age students, especially the current and prospective members of Clinton City Blaze track. The event, here's the best part, the event is absolutely free and no registration is required.
Absolutely.
You can show up on the day of that event and participate and get all the coaches and everything else, and I'm sure that'll lead eventually to a track program at Clinton Elementary.
Well, we're actually having tryouts this next month, so there will be a track team when the clinic takes part. Clinton High School team and their staff will instruct in the clinic, so they're kind of budding up with us. And of course, the Clinton Blaze, the elementary school athletic team and the elementary, kind of gearing it up for a feeder program for Clinton High School.
I'd see that.
Now, once a kid goes to middle school, I mean, they get the option to go anywhere they want to, but hopefully with the relationship that we have with Clinton High School, and the coaches come in and talk to the kids, and we go over to the high school and look at the complex, kids will visualize themselves wanting to go there, so hopefully it works out. But what has started this is the very successful cross-country team we had a young lady qualify for the AAU Nationals in a mile run. 2 or 3 other kids won big awards in the Knoxville Track Club. That's the team unit that we entered. But they stayed after us for a track team, and your son was the biggest one that worried me to
Well,
death.
it's because my granddaughter loves to run track, and I went all over Knoxville during the summer last year when it was 100 degrees to watch her running track, and I'm glad to see it's happening. I'm glad any sports there at the elementary school. I'm all for that. But me and you were talking earlier, and you asked me off camera, how does Murfreesboro? What all do they have statewide?
Okay,
Tell us.
now football goes to Cookville. Okay, now Murfreesboro this year. Now this is the way the schedule is going to be. Track and field will be in Murfreesboro, and it'll be at a place called the Dean Haynes Stadium. It's May 14th. Soccer will be in Richard Stiegel Soccer Field. It's the 23rd through the 26th. That's in Murfreesboro. Tennis will be in the Old Fort Park. Must have a big tennis complex there. It's the 25th and 26th of May. Girls softball will be at a sports complex there in Murfreesboro, 23rd through the 26th. Baseball will be in Murfreesboro, Lebanon, and Laverne, May 23rd, now 26th. Now, what I need to ask you, Cookville has had the football for several years. Must work out well there. Tennessee Tech is in town. Now, how does Murfreesboro or any other town, that's a lot of state championships.
Every year,
Okay, how's
I
that
say
work?
every year. I don't know, it might be every 2 years or every 3 years. All those things come up to be bid on.
All right.
So the city of Murfreesboro or someone in Murfreesboro.
The one they got
Chamber-
facilities, obviously.
Well, they got the facilities.
Yep.
A lot of it's on MTSU's campus. A lot of it is
Okay.
on MTSU's campus. I don't know. You're talking about the tennis court. I've seen tennis courts at MTSU. I don't know if that's the tennis courts we're talking about or not. But anyway, you sort of bid on that. It's like Cookville's bid on football the last, remember how long it's been down there, and they've received
Is there
that
any
bid.
other towns bidding?
I don't know if anybody else. I don't
Okay.
have the knowledge of knowing if anybody else. I know Cookville got the bid away from Murfreesboro for football because forever the tournament. I mean the football championships was played at MTSU football field. I do know that. I remember back in the day that the football championships was played at Vanderbilt.
Yes, absolutely.
It was
Yes.
played at. As a matter of fact, I think when Clinton went that year, played at Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken.
92.
In 92, I think they played at Vanderbilt. So it's come from Nashville down to Murfreesboro. Now it's in Cookville. So I don't know if you have to. There was some talk a few years ago that Knoxville was trying to get the basketball. I don't know if they try to keep it centrally located. If they say you can only bid if you're right here in this area, because think about that. Cookville, Murfreesboro, pretty close.
Oh, absolutely.
Centrally located for West Tennessee and East Tennessee to come. So I don't really know how that works.
Well, football in Cookville, I'm thinking it's easy to get around the town. Don't know how many motels they have there, but probably have enough for 5 or 6 days of games, I guess, for the football.
I think most of these Tennessee teams don't stay overnight. They just travel in. Unless they got that first game, maybe. They just come. They just do a regular. I know Maryville has for years. You'd pass Maryville. I've been to Fulton's and be going, and if Maryville wasn't there, you'd pass them going down or coming back. They bust down just like they do on a Friday night, man.
Well, Murfreesboro.
Just like you do on a Friday night.
Murfreesboro's got to be the fastest growing town in Tennessee, other than Nashville. But probably easy to get around. Probably a lot of motel, hotels.
It's plenty down there.
So
yeah.
that's probably a pretty neat deal. But has Nashville grown so much? Let's say this goes back to Nashville. Man, it's just hard to get around in Nashville.
I don't think it's ever.
A lot of people get lost. I think you're right.
I don't think it's ever going
All right,
back.
with Murfreesboro growing like it is, it just leaves
Could
some
move.
gaps.
You never know.
Could it move because of that very reason?
It very well could. You could have Cookville decide maybe we're going to go after
the whole thing.
Maybe we're going to go after basketball. They've got a facility there at Tech.
Could be
That they could go after it too. So
be. Yep.
I've been there many times with Fulton to practice on the way. There'd be a practice there that morning before we went on into Murfreesboro. You get a practice in right there. I've been there a couple times with Jody Wright when they practiced there. In fact, that used to be a place he stopped all the time in practice.
Well, baseball must be maybe a problem for a community because I noticed here there's Murfreesboro, Lebanon, and Laverne.
Well, think about
a
baseball game, E.T. How long it takes to play a game.
It's longer. Yes,
you can play a girls' softball game probably twice as fast as you can play
an hour
one
low-scored game.
Yeah, you probably can play one game baseball. Probably eats up 2 games of girls' softball would eat up. So that's why I assume you got to have multiple locations.
That's a thought there.
Hey, that won't be long now, folks. That's coming down the pike. So if you're a girls fan, you're missing out tonight.
Right.
Because Oak Ridge and them are playing right now as we speak to play Saturday night at home or on the road. So catch Oak Ridge boys tomorrow night. I think it's at Bearden tomorrow night. The Oak Ridge boys are. So
Listen, a good friend of ours, he coached at Clinton High School. He was offensive coordinator. Got the Powell job, Rodney Ellison. Lost that job when the new coach came into Powell. He went to Catholic, but he's now over at Oak Ridge. He's going to coach at Oak Ridge now. And his daughter played basketball here at Oak Ridge, but I think she plays at Rome State. But welcome to Rodney Ellison. Great basketball.
He's going to coach football at Oak Ridge?
Football, yeah. He's a good offensive mind. And he'll be at Oak Ridge this year.
I hadn't heard that.
Yep, Rodney Ellison.
So I hadn't seen Coach Gaddis since football season was over. They did a show. When he finished up, they did a show. We did a show, but I didn't hang around much to talk to him. So usually don't see him in the off seasons. But it's a good question. I wonder if he took somebody left or what.
It's a wide receiver's job. Don't know that who he took.
Probably somebody moved on, got another position.
Let's talk about some of the best recruits in the state. Basketball now. And I think we have, right here in the state of Tennessee, probably the number one. You know a little bit more about him.
I think that kid signed at Memphis. I think that's a kid that Memphis got that Calipari made the comment about. He didn't understand why anybody would want to go to Memphis play basketball when they could come to Kentucky.
His name is James Wiseman. And he
that might be right. I'm not for sure. Where's he play at?
Plays at East in Memphis, East High School in Memphis.
I think that's where Penny Hardaway was a high school basketball coach, I think.
Before he
took the Memphis job.
He's 7 foot 210, and he's the number one player in the nation.
I might be wrong on that, but I think that's right.
Okay. And we got a Chandler Lawson from Wooddale, and that's in Memphis too. Now he's a 6'8" kid, and I'm gonna bring these two heights up, 7 foot 6'8". I run across a team picture at Clinton High School in 1963. Jay Donifrey had just come to Clinton. And this is his first team. He walks into school. You're the head basketball coach. I'm sure Jay Niderfer probably said, I wonder who I've got. Well, he's got a guy named Jerry Brown at 6'10". Harold Singleton at one forward at 6'5". David Fortune at the other forward, he's 6'5". And then you throw in a guy like Pete Malzone, which is probably the greatest athlete ever come through Clinton. Went on to Cumberland, did well right there. And then you had Sonny Snellins and Tom Stokes as a great shooting guard. That was basketball. But what I was getting at, 6'10", 6'5", and 6'4" on the starting lineup back in the day. And you've been at Fulton a lot. There's really never been a 6'10", 6'11", 7-footer.
Yeah, never been a big man, really. Not a true big man.
Exactly. So, but here we've got a 7-footer, which is the number one guy in the nation. 6'8", he comes from Wooddale, which is in Memphis. And then this next kid is 6'4", but he's out of Memphis. It's some kind of an academy down there. 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Is that not what Grant Williams is? Now, I'm going to say a problem. He's a great basketball player, but get to the NBA.
They say Grant Williams is a potential
Winner.
NBA candidate because he's smart and think.
Yep.
He's got a good inside game, but he needs to get the mid-range jumper, and he's not quite got that down yet. But I guess that's why, and I've not been around Fulton in a few years now, but I'm sure Coach Wright's still preaching. Everybody's got to rebound.
Exactly.
Because Fulton's always small.
Yep.
They always, they're undersized, play always, but they crash the ball. That's what, to me, I think Jody wins the games because they're disciplined, because they play really good defense, and rebound. And everybody rebounds. So when you do all three of those, and you've got a good player, they probably got a guy or two that can really shoot the ball. Always have had that, and that's how you win those games. So, if I was a high school coach to come in and had somebody 6'10", if he could just halfway play, I'd be happy. Because I think back, what is the score?
39-34 at halftime, Ole Miss.
That don't shock me.
Yep.
It's a tough place to go play, and
still need to win that ball game.
But they don't win it. If they don't win it, then Saturday Tennessee could get beat again.
Yeah. Yep.
You could see Tennessee going. Possibly Tennessee could lose the last 4 or 5 games they got down the stretch.
We knew this stage was coming of their schedule. We knew
it's tough. Front end's weak, back end's strong.
Well, we had talked. I want everybody to think about this. At the first of the year, and even halfway through the year, Barnes was playing 9 to 10 guys, and now there's 7 guys playing. Now, 1 or 2 more past that. I don't see Walker anymore. Pons is since he had surgery.
He's just a defensive. He's a defensive guy, and that's it, man.
He'll relieve someone for
You
3 or
don't
4
even
minutes.
you don't even have to play defense.
So
on him.
we're talking about 7 guys now, and you noticed when they get knocked down, a little bit slower getting out. I'm telling you, I think the season's wearing on them.
I think the legs are gone. They need a
do.
break, and there's not a break in there for them anywhere. So,
But there's an argument point. Kentucky's playing better at this stage of the game. They should be getting.
They might be a little bit deeper.
What possibility? That's the key to football. Anything.
But the best thing is coming up. Basketball. The best time of the year for basketball is fixing to take place here in the next few weeks when we get to the tournament. I think as far as sports goes, I think that's the best time for sports, for
Spring.
college. I think the NCAA tournament, those games going off on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
I think that is probably the most exciting thing that happens in college sports, even more than the college football playoffs. I think that's just absolutely, that's probably the best time of year to be if you're a college basketball fan, man, you just flip from channel to channel to channel and get basketball.
Well, football, I think once you have your conference playoff, those probably are the 2 best teams right there. Your conference playoff right there, and whoever wins that is a darn good football team. Basketball, I think somebody can have a hot streak and come in high in their conference, and by golly, go on a roll playing somebody out west, up north. And
it's all about.
Next thing you know, you've won 4 games.
It's all about the draw.
They're totally right.
It's all about the draw.
You're right. I love this time of the year because I love to see that underdog, that little team, and they only got 7,000 enrolled, and by golly.
Used to play competitive softball, and we'd go, and we had a coach that would go look at the bracket, and he'd say, well, we're 2 and done.
WS.
And no, it wasn't him. Mr. Henderson. He'd say, well,
there we go, Mr. Henderson. Yes.
We're two and done. And I called him Garfield and said, what do you mean, Garfield? He said, well, Solway Hardware's in our bracket. And forever, Solway Hardware put us out.
Absolutely.
Forever.
Yeah.
They put us out. And finally, one summer, we finally got where we could beat them, and that was no longer an object. We finally got to that point where we could compete with them and beat them, but it took us forever to get over that hurdle. So I think if you get a good draw and you just get hot at the right time,
exactly.
I mean, here you go, and that's it. So I don't know. But I really do think the best time's come. I'm glad that spring's coming around because I like to go to Smokies and watch the Smokies play. I think it's a great place to go see it. It's a great atmosphere, great place.
Your drive may not be as long,
and I will be glad for that.
Exactly.
Because if it was in Knoxville, I think I would go more.
We all would.
I think we would go more. I don't even know that I would purchase season tickets. I really do mean that. I don't know that I would purchase season tickets.
Randy Boyd will move one of his clubs to Pigeon Forge or Sevierville, whatever you want to call it, and then he's balled at 2 more clubs. He's got a rookie league up in Greenville and then something in South Carolina.
Yeah.
There must be money to be made.
I guess. I don't know. All right, E.T., I appreciate you coming down. Now we're right at the end. I appreciate you filling in for Ron Berry. They ain't no telling
you sure
what.
you don't know about him stopping my credit line
I don't know
at
nothing about
Starbucks?
it. I don't know nothing about it, but I'll sure remind him next week that you were mad about it.
You care if I call and roast him next week?
Call and roast him, man. Get on him all you want to.
I'm not happy, seriously.
Hey, we'll see you here next week on the Locker Room Chat. Get out and see a basketball game. Baseball won't be long. See you.
Go Blades.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
With so many places available to shop for a new car, people are often left wondering how to choose. Why not come to the place that's been providing excellent customer satisfaction for over 45 years, Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman. We're the only dealership in Tennessee to have won the Subaru Love Promise Award for 7 years in a row. Read our online reviews and you'll see that Earl Duff Subaru is the right choice for all your automotive needs.
This month, choose the 2019 Outback 2.5i for just $25,990 with financing as low as 0% at Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.